Hi, this is Andy Copping. You're watching the Kerrang video podcast. We're really looking forward to download. I hope you are too. Kerrang!
Let's talk about this week's announcements. There's quite a few surprises in there. Quite a bumper pack of bands to choose from.
Yes.
So let's talk about these week's bands.
Well, I wanted to come out with an announcement this week with a good chunk of bands and a really good cross-section. And I think we've done that. Obviously, what I've done over the past 2 or 3 years is just to get a good varied bill, so there's something for everybody. And when you look at what we've gone up with this week, you know, one end is Bullet from a Valentine, you've got Danzig, you've got Pendulum, you've got Alice Cooper, Thin Lizzy, Hollywood Undead. I mean, it's good. You can take a pick of something from the rock genre, and it's in that announcement. And hopefully we're going to be doing the same with future announcements.
Yeah. I guess the people at home were expecting a third headliner to be announced. What surprise are you going to pull out of the bag for the third and final?
They are already confirmed, but unfortunately not quite in time for when we wanted to go with this announcement. So we're saving that until our next announcement, which will be sometime in February, and I'll let you know as soon as possible. And there's one or two others that we have already confirmed, not in this bunch of bands this week, that we'll be going up with as well. So I'm hopeful that come kind of middle towards the end of February, we'll be going up with another 20 plus bands, similar kind of ilk that we've got this time, which is like new, contemporary, alongside heritage acts as well.
Yeah. With 100 plus bands every year, download must take a hell of a lot of planning. When do you actually sit down and say this is day one for next year's festival?
Well, you end up booking bands over a year ahead. I've already got, I mean, this is bizarre, I've already got a headliner confirmed for 2012, which I ain't going to tell you now, and I'm probably not going to tell you until January of next year, which is bonkers. It's great that we have actually got somebody in place. So it's a 52 week a year thing. You're always looking what band's available. You want to get in early. You want to lock them down. So there's never any one time where you go, well, that's the day when I need to start working on it. What we will do is probably go, that's the day when we're going to announce something. So that's really the long and short, the structure of it. But yeah, it's consistent. And if somebody comes and says, hey, we're available in 2013, I'll book them today.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of UK festivals. How do you deal with the competition from the other kind of metal and rock?
Well, how do you deal? I mean, I'm more interested in how do they deal with us. I mean, we have been going now for 9 years. The festival has just grown and grown and grown. Each year, it's hard to try and compete with your previous year, but you get stuck in. Bands want to play downloads. There's no question about that. I get calls all the time, but then there's obviously a bunch of bands that I'd love to play, and I have to go chasing, and I have to sell the idea to them, and I have to pay them ridiculous sums of money to come and play, but that's part and parcel of what we do. Yeah. And to me, I concentrate on what Download's doing, because that's important to me. Other festivals are going to do what they're going to do, and best of luck to them. I mean, it's good that there's choices out there, but what I have to do is make sure that Download is the punters, the fans' first choice. I want to go to Donington this year. We've had so many great years in the past, and a lot of people have come to the festival that used to come from the old Monsters of Rock, and I want them to keep coming. So I've got to work really hard to make sure that we're at the top of the pile and the top of the tree, and thankfully I think we've managed to deliver that year on year, and again this year.
Yeah. What is it about the Donington site that lends a special sort of atmosphere to Download?
Do you know, I think you can't pinpoint it. I wish I knew what it was, but there's a real spirit about the place, and it was like that back in the old Monsters of Rock days, and people say it all the time, God, there's just this really friendly vibe at Donington, and the fact that the bands all seem to get on. You'll read about rivalry in the press and what have you about different bands, but when they're at Donington, they're all hanging out in each other's dressing rooms, and I remember when we toured with so and so, and all of that stuff, and exchanging stories, which is brilliant. It's no different to the fans. Fans are the same. I can remember when we were at Donington in 2004, and were you here in '96, and all of this kind of stuff. There's just a real friendly spirit about the place. I mean, I wish I knew what it was. I'm glad we've got it, and I hope it stays with us. But it's been there for years, and hopefully we can maintain that.
Brilliant. What is it you look for in each band? If I was to form a band tomorrow, what kind of
I'd book you, Simon. I'd book you.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
£50 and some sandwiches.
There you go.
But what kind of attributes do you look for in a band?
Well, you kind of you have to look at their overall profile in the marketplace at that given time, and this works with different bands. Obviously, when you're looking at some of the heritage acts, the older acts, it's a different kind of ideal. You kind of go, well, I want to book them because they haven't played the festival before, and part of the festival sort of veers into the heritage classic rock genre. So you kind of think, well, yeah, I'd like to book Thin Lizzy, I'd like to book Mr. Big, I'd like to book Alice Cooper. And then when you're looking at obviously the more contemporary acts, it's like who's kind of current at the moment. And it's I read Kerrang every single week, just get a feel of what's going on, and I've got various different tastemakers out in the marketplace like yourself and other people in the media and in the industry. Give me an idea of what's going on. I go and see bands week in, week out, and sometimes you see a support band on somebody and think, hey, well, they look like they're coming through. Yeah. But also, it's what's their release schedule. Have they got an album that's coming out or been out that's really strong? It's like booking Bullet for My Valentine, for instance. There was a criteria booking them was they've just come off the back of an amazing sold out arena tour, and it's like they've got to come back and play Download, and we're having them play directly under Linkin Park. And then, like with Pendulum, again, just done an unbelievable sold-out arena tour, and the show's phenomenal, the lights and everything. So it's great to have them. Then you get into bands like Black Veil Brides, and there's a real buzz on them at the moment. They're touring with Murder Dolls. They're then going to come back and play at Download. I've heard some new stuff by Hollywood Undead, which I think is amazing. I think there's a real chance the Hollywood Undead are going to break this year, and I'm hoping off the back of Download that will give them a bit of a kick in the marketplace. The record is really, really strong. Korn did amazing at Ozfest last year, and they played at Download numerous times before, always been fantastic. Even the year when Jonathan never showed up, that still ended up being a monumental day, because all the other band singers, there was Matt from Avenged Sevenfold, it was Benji from Skindred, all these guys, and obviously Corey Taylor got up and sang with them, and they did so well at Ozfest. I thought, well, we should bring them back and get them to play Download again. So there's many different reasons as to why I would book an act, and there's some that you want to give a chance to because they're new, and there's others there's something happening with them, and then others that have just totally proved that they're really, really strong in the marketplace, so they should be playing the festival.
Download won the newly created Best Festival Award in the Kerrang Readers Poll. How will you top it this year?
God, and we're so lucky that the festival itself seems to have such a really strong standing in just in music. We've been really lucky. We won a couple of years ago. We won Best Festival in the World at Billboard magazine, and I'm about to go out to the US. There's another award ceremony where there's a fingers crossed chance that we've won something there. I mean, it's a weird thing with awards. It's like a football team. If you win the European Cup, or if Chelsea win the Premiership, it's like, well, you've got to win it next year because you've won it this year. So you're always like thinking, what can we do to get better, because we don't want to lose our mantle, and you've got to really keep fighting. I think all we can do is just do the best what we can. I always aim to go out and get whatever bands are that are available, everyone else involved with the festival, wants to make sure that facilities and what we offer, you know, the fans, that they have a great experience so that they'll keep coming back. And that's all that we can do. I book the festival like a fan. I'm a music fan, an absolute music fan first and foremost, and that has to take priority. And I'm booking bands thinking, well, yeah, you know, I really want to see them, and I'd love to see them, and you know, I'm piecing it all together on how, you know, the great festival would look for me as a music fan. So yes, I'm doing it from a business perspective, but I have to book it like a fan. And while I keep doing that and getting great bills together, I hope we'll continue to hopefully be at the top of the pile, and people keep letting us win polls. That's great for us.
If you could pick the dream bill, Live, Dead, together, they've split up, who would your top 3 bands be?
Right, well, I think there's probably a choice of 4 or 5 headliners I'd like to really have a pick at.
Right.
And one is AC/DC, which we did last year, and I definitely book them again, no question.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, absolutely, hands down, would take them in a second. Pink Floyd with Roger Waters, love to see that. Having seen what they did in Hyde Park at Live 8 a couple of years ago, and they only did 3 or 4 numbers, but it was just like 30 minutes of heaven. You know, even the Rolling Stones, I think a band like the Rolling Stones playing at Download to close one of the nights with them, with, you know, all those hits, and they're just, I mean, I know they're a bunch of old men, but just all those songs, incredible. I'd love to see Van Halen. I think Van Halen would be amazing. You know, with David Lee Roth, just phenomenal. I mean, they are my all-time favourite band of all time, and that'll never change. And I guess finally, the original, or close to the original lineup of Guns N' Roses. Slash has got to be in there, Duff's got to be in there, Izzy's got to be in there. I'd love it to be Steven Adler, but if not, obviously Matt Sorum, and of course the crazy ginger one, he's got to be in there. That I think would be the ultimate, the original lineup of Guns N' Roses as well. So pick any 3 out of those, and I would be a very, very happy man. And you know what? I'd take 1 and 2 other bands as well, and that's no discredit to the other headliners, because we've had some phenomenal ones over the years, but you've asked me to pick some ultimate band. They're my 5 ultimate. Brilliant.
Well, best of luck with this year's Download, and we look forward to seeing what you've got to reveal in the coming weeks.
Will do. Thanks very much.
Kerrang!